Good afternoon, Jacket Nation. Welcome back to Catch a Buzz. Ryan King here with my co-host and brother Sean King. Unfortunate loss Saturday up in central New York to Syracuse. Jackets fall 31-28 in what was a pretty difficult game to watch. Offense did not seem to have a great game plan going in once Syracuse determined that they were able to stop our run. We didn't seem to have many answers for it until it was too little too late. Defense was a bit of a nightmare. There weren't a whole lot of positives outside of special teams for the Jackets on Saturday. So I'm just going to go ahead and kick it over to Sean, and he can give his thoughts on the game, and I'll go ahead and chime back in after that.
Yeah, so still even having 2 days to process, it's still just a ton of just jumbled thoughts on what exactly happened. I was working on Saturday and stream cut out halfway through, so I didn't even see most of the third quarter. But I did get to watch the awful first half. We came into it just thinking we could run the ball down their throats after they gave up 250 to Ohio the week before, and you felt good coming in that's all you had to do, and the pass would work off it. You thought, defense would do well on the run, hold their pass attempt to manageable to be able to at least win the game, and we just were unable to do it. And I mean, props to Kyle McCord. He looked great. I think it's a little mix of us making him look great. I think we didn't learn nothing from the Ohio game. We played 10 yards off their receivers and just let them get easy passes. And then they still even had some long shots, and they just looked like the better team. I think this score to this game doesn't reflect on how bad Georgia Tech got beat on both sides of the ball, really. Really, the bright spot is Haynes is a dog. I think he threw for about 260, had a passing touchdown and two massive runs in the first half to keep us in the game going into halftime. So you can't say many bad things about Haynes, and it's really more about the other Haynes and the running backs and the O-line not being able to run the ball and open up some plays. But also I think it's a little bit of play calling as well, and Buster Faulkner just not, for some reason, seems like he's holding back. I don't know if it's he doesn't want any picks or there's just no deep shots downfield. There's just no wanting to get the ball and score, and it's just, all right, yeah, we're gonna try and run, which I like, but not in a game where you can't get a yard on the ground, and it's just nothing seems to be going your way. You need to try and open the field, and we just never did it that game. So just frustrating. You're ranked for the first time in 9 years, and you come out here and just lay an egg, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate. I guess I'll start with my thoughts on offense. I agree with pretty much everything that you said. It was kind of just the Haynes King show, and everyone else seemed to have never gotten off the plane in New York. The O-line was getting pushed around up front all day, and that's going to happen when they've got a 3-3 box. You're running it up the middle with five guys. You just kept running it up the middle. There were no adjustments really the entire game until the last 8 minutes or so. Then suddenly the playbook gets opened up. You start throwing the ball around more, and what happens? You score two quick touchdowns. It makes the rest of the game up until that point even more inexcusable. The play calling by Buster Faulkner was atrocious, absolutely horrible. And on top of that, Brent Key had a terrible game. He didn't seem to have the guys prepared. All the talk about physicality, it did not translate onto the field Saturday. And then I think one of the big turning points in the game was at the end of the first half. You get the block punt. You've got about 1:40 left, I believe. And it seemed like we had no desire to even try to score. We were happy to just sit there. We're running up the middle, running clock off, not taking timeouts. And I'm not 100% positive about this because I didn't hear it myself. I was a little too upset to listen to the post game pressers. But supposedly, in regards to that, Key was saying he was being conservative because he didn't want to give him the ball back before the
Just what,
half,
a minute? A
which is the
minute?
craziest thing I've ever heard. You had a minute 40 left. If there's any time, once again, as you saw towards the end of the game, once you start actually, your hand has been forced and you're trying to fight back, we had no problem pushing it down the field because they were playing the exact same defense we were essentially. We had a 3-2-6. They were running a 3-3-5. Soft zone defense. They took our lunch money. Kyle McCord did. And Haynes King did too when the play calls allowed him to. So there's no, it's mind boggling to me how you don't see them playing a soft zone and just let Haynes King eat. I don't understand. It made no sense from start to finish. As you
Just
said,
seems
the
like
scoreboard doesn't reflect what actually played out on the field. I mean, your special teams kept it from being much worse, even though unfortunately Aiden Burr missed a field goal that could have sent this game to overtime. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Missed field goal at the half shouldn't be the deciding factor in the game.
yeah.
It and I know the defense is really getting a lot of hate, but I feel like they played better. They played better in the second half.
Oh yeah. I mean, what,
They
they
at
had
least
300 something yards going
yeah,
into the half.
they at least made some sort of adjustments. McCord may not have thrown for 100 yards in the second half. Honestly, I
He
feel like
finished with 381.
he was already at 300 at halftime or 280 or
Yeah.
something. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was at some ridiculously gaudy number at the half, and you were at least preventing that. They only ran for 134, so that could have only been so productive in the second, and they at least made some adjustments. So you can say that about, their game plan may have been terrible coming in, but at least they did something to try to change it. Glaring
Yeah, I
issue,
agree.
pass rush. We still just have absolutely no pass rush. It's abysmal. But
And I
that's what
also, I mean, I think also a little bit of the second half, they were probably just trying to chew clock. I mean, when you're already up
yeah,
17 points, I mean, you're not going to be slinging the ball around. But I mean, you'd think, I mean, I would have thought they'd had a lot more than 134 rushing yards, but
well, yeah,
uh,
they shouldn't have to run it. It's yeah, to me, this game almost more so than the defense is. It's actually on the offense. It's on Faulkner. There's no reason that even when they're shutting down your run game, I understand not wanting to get away from it, but the way when they're stuffing it, the way that you open it back up is by showing them, hey, we can throw it on you. You have to respect the run. You've got to keep selling out on the run. Force them to do it. And we didn't. We just kept running, play after play after play that didn't work, kept doing it. It just felt like an old Tech team. It didn't feel like the team that we've come to expect in the last couple of years, or at least in the last, half of last year into this year. You don't expect such a poorly coached game. They felt unprepared, and it was just a big letdown, to be honest.
then you have the third, the second down penalty to try and get the ball back and make something happen, a miracle happen, and then you just don't take the penalty.
Yep,
I mean, I guess you're hoping your defense is going to get a stop on 3rd and 10 that they haven't done all day, and this is now the time that they're going to do it. Um, I just don't, and that's kind of when I tuned back in because it was, like I said, I was working. It was 31-14, and kind of just turned it off after I think it was it was right before we scored 21. We were driving down, and it was like a long second down. They threw it to the sideline. They said he got his foot in and showed the replay, and I don't think he got his foot in. And so then that's when I turned it off, and I had to go outside and deal with these subs out here. But when I tuned back in on, 31-21, I guess we just got the onside kick and scored a touchdown, and then I have to watch Us get blown up on another third down. Seems like Atlanta teams don't know how to get off the field on third down.
Yeah, we got 2 days full of that this weekend, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I don't know if I've got much more to say, to be honest, about the game. It was a piss poor performance, if I'm being honest. The
I
score
mean, I
didn't
guess
reflect how close it was. I mean, we could have easily gotten blown out of the building. We both posted some shorts during halftime. Kind of, unfortunately, we were expressing essentially the same emotions as we are in this video because nothing really changed in the second half. You really hope that this was a bit of a wake up call, and as much as I'm sure we were telling them all week, don't let it get to your head, don't let it get to your head. It certainly, actually, you know what? I don't even know if I want to say that because it was such a poorly coached game that I don't even know how much I can put on the players. Defensively, sure, to some extent, but offensively, I mean, I don't know what you expected them to go out there and do with the plays that they were calling for them. When they got, when the play calling improved, we had no issue moving it all over them. So this one comes back to coaching for me, which is really, it's unfortunate to say because all we do is get on here and sing Key and Faulkner's praises. And they certainly didn't give us any reason to do that this past weekend.
and then you get guys like Malik, who knows what his status is, and
Miles.
how long he's going to be out. Miles, I guess some bright spots. Avery Boyd looked good again when he did get the ball. I don't think Anthony Carey did much.
Yeah,
When
I
he
mean,
did,
Singleton looked good with the exception of that massive drop where he tried to
yeah,
make that circus catch, but it was
yeah.
a huge drop. It was right in his hands, and he couldn't come down with it. So
And then we have Anthony Carey in the game when we're three downs in a row, and then you go and hurry up on fourth down and hand it off to your most inexperienced running back.
and get blown up.
It's just some of these. It's coaching, man.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
inexplicable
speaking
too.
speaking of coaching, what do you think about what Syracuse's coach had to say after the game?
I think it was probably one of the more classless things I've ever seen from a coach. I I wouldn't have any issue with what he did if he used it as motivation to get his team fired up during the week. It worked. They came out, playing like their hair was on fire. If it was just left on the field, I would have absolutely no issue with it. To come into the post game press conference and start talking about how they made this personal, you give ammo to me, I'm going to use it, blah blah blah. I mean, for something that's complete garbage. I mean, Key said absolutely nothing directly to Syracuse or to Fran Brown outside of
No,
saying that he doesn't really remember him, and Fran Brown got all butthurt over it, I guess. So
I mean he was a GA for 3-4 months.
yeah, 3-4 months on offense, and had probably had very little to do with Fran Brown at all. And that was back in a time where grad assistants, they're not like today where grad assistants are like right down on the field. They're way more hands on. They were interns more or less, and it's just insane to me that he would act that way. He was the same, and then on the field during the game, Malik gets hurt, and he's over there chanting on the sideline, "Let's go Orange."
Was he really?
Varies. Yeah, he was chanting to the crowd, "Let's go Orange," while Malik is down, hurt on the field. Yeah, so Fran Brown in my book is a classless piece of shit, and I cannot wait for them to come to Atlanta next year. You want to talk about bulletin board material? He just gave Georgia Tech a whole lot of it in the past week during the game and post game. It was
And
it
they
was
probably
it was
won't have Kyle
unreal.
McCord.
They
They
McCord
probably,
will be gone, Wax will be
McCord's
gone.
not going to have their
Anybody
carry.
that's worth anything on their team is gone next year. So he better try to bring in 40 more guys to make up for what he's going to be losing, or they're going to get run off of the field in Atlanta next year. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Fran Brown. He has very quickly become one of my least favorite people in college football. I guess that's as many people have pointed out, it's very reminiscent to the Kirby Smart telling his team after they just won a national championship that everyone's saying they're going to go 7-5 the next year, and the players actually believing it. So I'm sure that's where he learned it from. But unfortunately for Tech, it worked because they certainly came out looking like the more physical team, looking like they wanted it way more than Tech did. So props to him for that. But everything that happened during and after the game as a result of that, where he actually seemed to be taking it personally, yeah, I definitely had a bit of an issue with that, and I'm sure the rest of the Tech program did too. So
Yeah, I'll be see if I guarantee you Kelly will probably ask Key the question during his upcoming presser. So
yeah,
we'll
someone
see.
probably will. Yeah.
But no, I mean he comes into the presser just starting off saying, great game from Key and Buster Faulkner, and just giving their props, and then some reporter, some chick asking the question, and then I mean you just knew it was set up in that. I definitely have a new team I hate though, and it's not even honestly their players too. I mean, just during the entire game, I mean, just you just wanted to jump through the TV.
Yeah, Kyle McCord's on the sideline screaming whatever when he
McCord,
was about Tech being sorry.
and then Gadsden in his post game presser, and just classless. But yeah, just an embarrassing loss. Good luck getting becoming ranked the rest of the year unless you beat I guess Louisville. Notre Dame just lost to Northern Illinois, so what good does that do you now?
Gotta hope they start winning again.
So I mean, I guess from here on out, you better. I mean, obviously, you better beat VMI.
Yeah.
Who's next? Louisville after they play 2-3 cupcake teams. So
Two,
they'll
they got to buy.
be nice and healthy. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they have a bye after
So
2 games going into Tech. So
been played 4 games, so they've played 2.
yep, be our 5th game in a row.
So you need to start 4-1. You need to beat Duke, and you need to beat North Carolina.
You have to be 6-1 going into the last stretch. Yeah.
Look, we thought we were going to drop at least one of these first 7 games, and this better be the only one.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's not necessarily a season killer, but it's not the loss of the game itself. It's just the way that it looked. It was very ugly. So you've got to hope that they have a really good week of practice. They kind of come back down to earth, realize where they're standing at this point. You're only 1-1 in the ACC now instead of being 2-0. If you want to have any chance of competing for the conference, you have got to go beat Louisville. And ideally, you go because we tend to get up for big games. That's one thing that they've done under Key is they play a big game, they get up for it. And then these Syracuse type games, for whatever reason, they seem to lay an egg. So, that's got to end. You have got to be able to not just get up for the games where you're the underdog, where people may not be expecting you to win. You got to get up for the games that you are expected to win. He's constantly preaching about win consistently. Well, get your teams to do it, man, because they still can't do it. It felt like after Florida State, Georgia State, it was like, here we go. This is our chance to prove it that things are actually trending towards that win consistently direction. And unfortunately, as we've come very accustomed to the last couple of years, it didn't come to fruition. We drop a game that we probably shouldn't have. And now you're 2-1 instead of being 3-0 after winning the game that you didn't think you would. But as you said, I mean, the season's ahead of you. You've got 9 games. It's the Louisville game is going to be very important. I mean, you've got to try to get an upset there, and then you have to go beat Duke and North Carolina. They're must wins.
You have to.
You have to go beat them. You cannot mess around and lose one of them. You have to beat both of them. You should, realistically, you should blow the doors off of both of them. Duke is Duke. They're 2-0. It's a good start under Manny Diaz, but I mean, I have no belief in them whatsoever. And then Carolina, you have a lot of reasons to really want to beat Carolina this year. I'll leave it at that. And then from there, you're into the meteor schedule. So those last 5 games we've all known are going to be a gauntlet, but
2 of them don't look as bad.
Yeah. Notre Dame and Virginia Tech have certainly dropped off a little bit. Even NC State just got whooped by Tennessee, who I think is just a very solid team. I think they're actually underranked right now. I don't know where they're sitting right now, but to me, they've looked like a top 10 team.
I think new polls have them at 7.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, 14. I was kind of shocked by. But yeah, I think it's very important to get to 6 wins after North Carolina. If you want to have any chance at really putting together an incredible season, I mean, we all said at the start of the year we'd be happy with 7-5 for the most of us, at least, knowing what the schedule looked like. So, I mean, you get to 6 wins by North Carolina, and you're poised to do much better than that if you can get to that point. It's just going to be a matter of them doing it, because it's going to take us winning 3 games in a row.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I honestly don't really know my expectations coming into the season. And, if I guess just another winning record in a bowl, I mean, I just don't really think we're there yet to go win the ACC. I mean, could we do it? Could we do it? Yeah. I mean, but you have to get there first. And I'd like to know Key's record. I know he's 5-0 against ranked ACC teams, but what is he against just non-ranked? Which, I mean, it's probably way higher because not a lot of many ACC teams are ranked every year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess every year you just want to go beat Georgia, really. I've been waiting on that for, 8 years. So, I guess now 8-4 sounds good.
Yeah, I think 8-4, it's still a great year if you manage to get to that point. I think if you told any Tech fan before the year that they were going to go 8-4, they would be ecstatic, knowing that the schedule is one of the hardest in the country. Nobody would be complaining about that. So, but in order to get there, you've got to win some big games, and you have to win big games consistently. And, well, I guess after VMI, your not so big games are over with for the rest of the year. But
if we don't come out against VMI and throw the ball deep 45 times, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other game to try and make mistakes. There's no other game to try and make mistakes. You'll probably a mistake in this game isn't going to hurt you as bad as it would against Miami or Georgia. So it's take shots, take off whatever collar you got on Haynes, and I mean, let him loose. I don't get the play calling during that Syracuse game, and it's just it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It is. But there's nothing they can do about it now except watch film, practice hard, and, be better on Saturday. So we'll see how they come out. They better, I agree with you, they better sling it all over the place. And they need to be winning 45-50 to nothing at halftime, and the starters need to not play another snap the rest of the game. That's what they need to come out and do. I will be livid if they come out and fuck around for even a quarter. They need to make easy work of VMI. I don't even know what they are, Division 3 or something. Like
I've never heard of them.
they don't even belong on the field with Tech. I don't even know how he scheduled them. So
I mean, they're 0-2. I mean,
this is the game where you do what a bunch of those teams did in week 1. You know, the Ole Misses and Auburns. You beat them 70-0, and you go home. Your starters play 2 quarters.
they lost to William and Mary 41-7. I think William and Mary though was actually pretty decent. I think they played an SEC team tough 2 years back. And then lost to Bucknell 35-28.
Yikes. Yeah, so as if we didn't already feel that way. That should tell you all you need to know about how this game on Saturday should look. So, and I do want to say also, if you've made it this far, go. Sean and I are in Tampa, so we can't. But go to the game on Saturday. I know people are probably pissed that they lost. It's VMI. It's not very exciting. But the way that you, the fan, can really help get this program back to where we all know it should be is by supporting, buying tickets, going to the games. I can tell you that if I was still in Georgia, I'd be going to every single game. And I know Sean and I are going to be trying to make it up for Miami in November. But even these small games, you look at successful programs around the country, I mean, they're sold out no matter who it is. That's what Tech needs to get back to. I'm sure that even as a player or as a recruit, it can be kind of demoralizing, or it may not really sway you towards Tech to go and be like, oh, I'm going to play in front of a half full stadium every week. Fans have got to get back. I know, VMI is probably a bit of an exception. No one's really going to bat an eye if it's half full or whatever. But from now on, for the rest of the season, I don't care if Tech doesn't win a game. People need to be going.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new era, I think. I mean, there is still a lot to be excited about. Like you said, the only way that we're going to get, better is by supporting the team, and that's going to the stadium, and if you can, support the team off the field as well. So I haven't seen Bobby Dodd packed in a while.
No, it's been a long time. Hopefully this year is going to change though, and the way it changes is by you buying tickets, and hopefully you're buying tickets to go see a team that can win consistently.
How expensive are tickets?
VMI, I've got no idea, but for our game against that we're looking at going to in Miami, it's probably going to be decent bit over 100. Miami's probably pretty close to sold out already, as are, I'm sure, most of the rest of the home games at this point. But yeah, that's I don't know, man. I don't know if I've got anything else. I think I've covered what I want to about this past game, and gone a little bit into our thoughts for the rest of the year. But
yeah, not much. Let us know in the comments what y'all think. Any good ideas on other content we can put out, like maybe power rankings, or I don't know, kind of, or maybe just stay with Tech. I don't know. Y'all let us know what you want to see. Y'all views are what matters. So
yeah, we really appreciate everybody that's been watching our first couple videos, our couple shorts we put out at halftime. And we're going to keep doing it if people are watching or not, but we'd love to have y'all tag along with us. So yeah, the only thing we'll ask y'all to do is hit a like if you liked it. It'll help more people see it. And as Sean said, leave a comment. We'd love to know what you think. Let us know what we can do better. We're happy to hear whatever sort of input y'all can provide. So on that note, I appreciate y'all tuning in to Catch a Buzz, and we'll catch y'all soon. Go Jackets.
Jackets.